Alexis O'Donoghue, and I'm a member of the Redmond Toastmasters Club. Today, I'm going to demonstrate a few tools to help you put some personal emphasis onto a prepared speech. Often, we're speaking with just a few key points that we might conversationally discuss in a speech format. But occasionally, we want to give a very rehearsed and prepared speech where every word counts. Sometimes we may even be delivering a previously written, famous speech. For our example today, I'm going to use Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Now, this is an example of a very well-known famous speech where we've never heard the actual author of the speech deliver it. However, if I wanted to deliver it, I would start with a few key points and bring what I feel are the important points that the author speaker wanted to have us see. So let's get started. One of the first things I like to do is read through the speech thoroughly. Sometimes I'll even speak it out loud just so that I can get the basic flow. I then look through the speech to find words that have emotion, that have passion, that carry a sense of energy about them, and also repeating words. This is a sign that these ideas or these words were extremely important to the author of the speech. For example, in the Gettysburg Address, the word dedicate or dedicated is used 5 times in a fairly short speech. He also uses the word devotion, and he emphasizes a new nation. So I take these words, or it might be a small phrase, and I circle them. The second thing I do is look for repeating phrases. These can be the exact same phrase that is repeated, or it can be a similar phrase that is changed by just one small word to emphasize different avenues of that thought. In the Gettysburg Address, the most famous example of this is the end. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. So when we find these repeating phrases, we want to vary them with different tools of vocal variety. Volume is something. You can build your volume from low to high, from high to low. You can peak in the middle. All of these will give you a different feeling for the words. We always want to be aware of sentence inflection. People have a particular way of speaking that tends to be a little sing-song. Typically, people will have patterns in which they speak, where they say the sentence exactly the same, and it ends exactly the same way, and with exactly the same emphasis on the same words and in the same place, just like I did now. If you're giving a speech like that, it can become very sing-songy, and we want to stay away from that. So we look through those phrases and we look through those words to see if there are emphasis points that we can make that are perhaps a little bit different than what we're used to saying. For example, let's take just a basic sentence that you might say to someone, I love you. That can sound very differently if you say, I love you. I love you. I love you. The same sentence, but where we put the emphasis really changes the meaning. Another example of vocal variety is using our volume. We tend to think of the most important things we're going to say as being the loudest, but that's not always the case. Often dropping your voice at an important point and increasing the intensity can bring more import to that final word or phrase. Let me give you an example from this speech. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow the sacred ground. By lowering your voice and increasing the intensity of the last word or phrase, you actually draw people in. Have you ever noticed that when you're speaking very loudly, people will sit back a bit, but once you bring your volume down, they often will lean forward. So this is one way to vary your expression. Another great tool for vocal variety is to look at your vowels and your consonants. This may seem a little confusing at first, but think about this. Devotion. I'm elongating the O. I'm saying the vowel very clearly. Devotion. Consecrate. You must consecrate this ground. I'm cutting that T off, stopping the airflow. That gives it a different feeling. Dedicate. Dedicate. elongating your vowels, biting off your consonants are all techniques that will help you bring different variety into your chosen words. And also, don't forget to breathe. Put down in your speech, write down DB, deep breath, a pause mark. This gives shape to your words and also adds emphasis. I'm going to read a couple sentences from our speech to give you an idea of what I mean. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. This is just the beginning. There are so many ways that you can add variety even into a speech that is already written down that you want to deliver word by word. Whether it's your speech that you've written, whether it's a famous speech that everyone knows, you can make it sound as if it's directly from your heart. And by taking the time to go through it, read it, plot it out, map it out like a piece of music, you will be breathing fresh life into it, and it will feel as if it's being delivered directly from your heart, and you will move people. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy it. Give it a try. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to know if any of these tools helped you out. And remember to come back again and get more fascinating tools and techniques from Redmond Toasters. Have a great day and have a wonderful speech.